wasn't a problem before. I would just pat it down and the whole area would be gold or bronze or blue. Those were or silver, because those were the body paints. Silver, a bronze, gold, which I'm trying to approximate now, or a blue. I would use a metallic blue. So, you know what we're going to do just to save time? I'm not going to go over the eyebrows. I gave you the idea of the bone thinness that I would get from the wax, but I'm just going to work with the eyebrows that I have because um, going back over these brows to get them bone smooth is not practical. Okay, so that gives you a basic idea of how this was all like a matte chrome. Um, let's get that right. That's a critical area there. Mm-hmm. But it is a shit ton different than with the chrome. Because that I would really press. I would just literally have to like press it on like this, or even, no, just like with my fingers actually, because it was just like I said, a lot of this was for speed. Durability was important, but girl, if you're going out every night, you can't be like fussing with all the details. That's why I told you with the natural look, I used to prefer to do it without my glasses on because I would, at least with the natural look, I would get sort of the general idea of the shadow and light that I keep mentioning with the natural look is essential because directors do not. I'm going to do a natural at lunch, at a luncheon, let's say, for a woman. Natural look, which is still natural, but the director may want to see that she maybe put a little more effort, but it can't be seen and nothing can be color. You can't have, if you'll notice, even in the dressy commercials, you don't see anyone with blue or green or yellow eyeshadow. That's a reason. That's by design. Why? Because Procter and Gamble, the corporation that's staring down your throat the whole time, thinks that basically any woman who looks made up or has, God forbid, color on her face is a you know what, an Orhe. Does that pass muster? I still don't know if that PUTA is going to pass muster. You may not see the show. Hope you do, though. Okay, so this gives you the general idea, right? Chrome, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I'm going to go over this with some of, let's see, how close can I get to something? Well, you know what? Since I didn't really do any blending on the eyes back in the day, let's just leave it at kind of a dark, sort of traily thing. Except I used to do this. I used to be into going up here with, something dark or whatever, not that I have it. So I would do a little bit of that. This shouldn't be such a mess, but the lines are pretty, you get the general idea. Okay, now, oh my God, I can't believe at least I'm this far. Okay, so let's consider, at least for now, good God, the eye's done, right? Now, I would use, oh, good God, what's dropping? I would use, what I don't see here, is a pencil for my, good God, where did that pencil go? Oh, I probably left it somewhere. But anyway, oh my God, that's a major deal. So what I'm going to do is what I did in a pinch, which is really going to scare you guys, is I'm going to do my eyebrows with eyeliner. I didn't want to have to do this because why? This is what I would do when I was in a rush and I didn't give a shit. I would just literally take my liquid eyeliner and I would just do a little bit like that. Well, not exactly like that, but okay. Now, again, I know that I'm doing this way out of order. I'm doing my eyebrows before I even work on my face, but whatever. This is just, again, it's showing you the process. It's, don't expect how it was supposed to look. It's just what I did, or sort of what I did. I could see, I had mirrors in front of me, and so it was different. As you can well imagine, being able to see and having lights right in your face is a hell of a lot more efficient than no mirror and being able to see. So, what other parties? Oh, yeah, once I remember Brian Rabin, when I first met him, who's a famous club promoter. By the way, you know, he told me, don't go so close like this in between the eyes as you're seeing me do. Because she always said, Sean, your eyes, you're making them scrunchy. Well, that was Jackie B. And ever since then, well, some of the time, I was like in my right mind, tried to take her advice. But as you can see, advice is not being well heeded here. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. This, I used to do the same effect, but with a pencil, so that I could actually like draw little hairs and things like that. But we are doing this, and poor Sean has no glasses on. So mind you, as I have said ad nauseum, I am doing this not being able to see. So again, correction. We're going to do a little correction here because we haven't done the face yet, which was my mistake before doing the eyebrows. But we don't have foundation on, so we can fix it a little bit, right? Okay. Okay, now let's just assume that the eyes are roughly what they were or are supposed to be and work on the face. I'm done with these friggin' eyes. It reminds me of how long I used to take on my eyes because I was so anal, so to speak, that if it didn't come out right, I would start all over again. I would literally wipe the eye clean and start all over again. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to approximate the Dermablend. Again, the Dermablend always went in here for the reasons I told you. So I'm going to take a foundation concealer stick, sort of, which kind of will give, oh, good one, Sean. Shows you how long I've been using makeup, or how long it's been since I used makeup. And at least it will give you an idea of how this area so desperately needed to be covered. Because just believe it or not, you guys, it can be a real nightmare at 2 in the morning, because if you're like me with coarse hair, it just happens. I can't say anything other than the fact that by a certain hour, these colors are not going to be right, but whatever. Again, this is procedural. So, look at that, it's all concealer. Dermablend had a very matte effect to it. Okay, whatever. Let's just kind of do this because it's freaking me out how juicy it is. This is not Dermablend. It's just to give you the idea of the coverage that had to be applied for the Dermablend. Okay, now that we've covered that area where the beard is going to show, I'm not bothering with the neck. That would be totally ridiculous. Okay, so we have blocked out the bottom part. Now, I'm going to take that same thing, that same stick, which is lighter, different, and I'm just going to do the usual. Boom, 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 boom. Again, this should be concealer, but I have like an aversion kind of to concealer because it feels like lipstick, and I don't like having greasy shit on my face. It feels like I'm wearing clown makeup. But there's areas that need to be done, so you do them. So this, of course, out here, a little bit, that's already covered. This is going to go like that. And maybe we've done that. Again, don't forget, I was known for being a messy, well, not messy, but not very fashionable. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we've done kind of what you do with, light concealer, whatever the hell. Now, let's go for some foundation. Like I said, I was not a big fan, never have been, of liquid foundation. In fact, when I used it, I would pat it to death. So I didn't have to use much of it. Okay, so, oh my God, Sean's big nightmare, using foundation. Powder, I'm going to go over this with powder. Not that it really, I guess, needs it, but I am in love with powder foundation. Now, that's not something I knew back in the day. I wasn't hip to powder foundation. Now I am. And that's not just for that natural look that I told you about. It was for, or is for, every look. But I'm showing you what I used to do, and I don't want to deviate from what I used to do, because that would not be, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm covering the camera with the mirror all the time. So again, we're not going to get too extensive with this because, it's a mess and a half, because Sean doesn't have his glasses on. But everything's fixable. Okay, so foundation, more foundation. It goes in all the places that, we always know. Foundation, always match the ear color. In fact, always remember to match the ear color, because otherwise, basically, you look like a floating made-up disc. Oh, sorry about that. Ooh, earthquake, earthquake, earthquake. Okay. So that one party, it wasn't really like a cocktail party, but it was, again, you kind of made the rounds in drag on a weekend if you're doing the cocktail party thing.